Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This morning we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 18, text 47. Chapter is entitled Marriage Parikshit Cursed by Brahman Boy. Apapeso svabityeso balana pakvabudina papam ketam tat bhagavan sarvatmaksantamarate. Word for word translation that apapeso, until one who is completely free from all sins. Svabrityesu, until one who is subordinate and deserves to be protected. Balena, by child. Apakva, who is immature. Buddhina, by intelligence. Papam, sinful act. Ketam, has been done. Tat Bhagavan, therefore, the personality of Godhead. Sarva Atma, who is all-pervading. Santum, just to pardon. Arati, deserves. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Then the Rishi prayed to the all-pervading personality of Godhead to pardon his immature boy, who had no intelligence, who committed the great sin of cursing a person who was completely free from all sins, who was subordinate and who deserved to be protected. That purport. Everyone is responsible for his own action, either pious or sinful. Rishi Samika could foresee that his son had committed a great sin by cursing Maharaj Parikshit, who deserved to be protected by the Brahmins, for he was a pious ruler and completely free from all sins because of his being a first-class devotee of the Lord. When an offense is done unto the devotee of the Lord, it is very difficult to overcome the reaction. The Brahmins, being at the head of the social orders, are meant to give protection to their subordinates and not to curse them. There are occasions when a Brahman boy may furiously curse a subordinate, Kshatriya or Vaishnava, etc. But in the case of Maharaj Parikshit, there were no grounds, as already explained. The foolish boy had done it out of sheer vanity in being a Brahman's son, thus he became liable to be punished by the law of God. The Lord never forgives a person who condemns his pure devotee. Therefore, by cursing the king, the foolish Shringi had committed not only a sin, but also the greatest offense. Therefore, the Rishi could foresee that only the Supreme Personality of Godhead could save his boy from the sinful act. He therefore directly prayed for pardon from the Supreme Lord, who alone can undo a thing which is impossible to change. The appeal was made in the name of a foolish boy who had developed no intelligence at all. A question may be raised herein that since it was the desire of the Lord that Parikshit Maharaj be put into that awkward position so that he might be delivered from material existence, Then why was a Brahman's boy made responsible for this offensive act? The answer is that the offensive act was arranged to be performed by a mere child, so that it could be excused very easily, and thus the prayer of the father was accepted. But if the question is raised why the Brahmin community as a whole was made responsible for allowing Kali into worldly affairs, the answer is given in the Vara Purana that the demons who acted inimically toward the personality of Godhead, but were not killed by the Lord, were allowed to take birth in the families of Brahmins to take advantage of the age of Kali. The all-merciful Lord gave them a chance to have their births in families of pious Brahmins, so that they could progress towards salvation. But the demons, instead of utilizing the good opportunity, misused the Brahminical culture due to being puffed up by vanity in becoming Brahmins. The typical example is the son of Samika Rishi, and all the foolish sons of the Brahmins are warned hereby not to become as foolish as Shringi, and to be always on guard against the demoniac qualities which they had in their previous births. The foolish boy was, of course, excused by the Lord. But those who do not have a father like Samika Rishi will be put into great difficulty if they misuse advantages obtained by birth in a Brahmin family. I read the verse once again. Apapesu sabrityesu balena pakva bodhina papam kritam tad bhagavan sarvatmakshantumarati. Thus the Rishi prayed to the all-pervading personality of Godhead to pardon his immature boy who had no intelligence, who committed a great sin of cursing a person who was completely free from all sins, who was subordinate and who deserved to be protected. Amagyanatimandasya jinansana salakya saksuranitam yena tasmai sigave namah. Chichitayam anubhistam stapitam yena bhutaleshvam rupakadamyam dadati svapadantika. Vandeham shiyuda padkamalam shiyam vaishnavam sha. Shirupam jagajatam saganaragnatam pitam tam sadivam sadvaitam savadutam parjanasaitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saganalita Shivshakam Vitam Sha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jatpate Gopesha Goprakanta Radkantanastate. Tapta Kanshna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvara Vishabhami Sudhadevi Pranamam Haripriye. Pankha Kalptra Visha Kripasana Visha Padnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sati Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachai Desatane. Srila Prabhupada Ki Datta. So, Shringi, the unexperienced Brahmin son of Samaka Rishi, he cursed Maharaj Pariksit to die within 7 days, to be bitten by a snake bird, Takshaka. But that was this was immature, that because Maharaj Pariksit did not commit a big offense. What are serious offenses according to the scriptures? Someone who administers you poison, like the Duryodhana and his brothers gave a poisoned cake to Bhima for his birthday that tried to kill him. Or one who puts fire on your house, that the Kurus offered the Pandavas a holiday house made of shellac, very inflammable material, and tried to burn them by fire. And attacked with weapons, that one who attacks you with weapons to kill you, you can have the whole battle of Kurukshetra there. One who plunders all your riches, that happens also to the Pandavas. They lost their inheritance of their father, were exiled to the forest for 14 years. Or kidnaps their wife. What did the Kurus try to do during the gambling match? To Draupadi. Of one who grabs your land and all your possessions. The Kurus committed all these sins, all these transgressions. These are serious offenses. But Maharaj Parikshit did not commit a big offense. Kshatriyas, naturally, they work with the mode of passion, and when you work with the mode of passion, sometimes you become angry what to do. But this was very exceptional because Kshatriyas are trained to fight an entire day from the sun, when the sunrise till the sunset. They are fighting. They don't stop to take a meal or to drink. So they were trained in that, not to drink and to fight. So it was very accidental there that Maharaj Parikshit became angry that to Samika Rishi. When he came into his hermitage and the sage was in Samadhi, he did not reply. And he became angry, and out of anger he offered him a dead snake as a garland and left. But usually the Brahmins, they are supposed to be tolerant and humble. So we see Shringi lost these qualities of being tolerant and humble. So when Srila Prabhupada was with Bhakti Charumaharaj, one night in the last days Prabhupada was with us. One night Prabhupada said to Bhakti Charumaharaj that the signs, how can you see that someone is spiritually advanced? That you can see because he's tolerant and he's humble. That's how you can see. So these are also qualities of a Brahman, to be tolerant and humble, but Shringi lost this. He did not show these qualities. For a small offense, he cursed Maharaj Parikshit. Because Kali's plan to contaminate the Brahmins, and he entered to Shringi. That was the beginning of the fall down of the Brahmins. that because Kali Yuga has to start. In Kali Yuga, all these so-called Brahmins, most of them are not qualified. They think them qualified by birth, but not by quality. Because Kali Yuga has to start. Kali Yuga is the age of quarrel. That in the time of Prabhupada, divorce that was not part of the Indian culture at that time. But then in the 80s, Bhakti Sharma had told us that was one couple in Delhi. One was a lawyer, and she was a doctor, a medical doctor. And they filed a case for divorce. And they came before the judge. And the judge asked them, why do you want to divorce? Well, they explained that the husband wanted the son to become a lawyer. And the wife said he should become a doctor. And therefore they were filing divorce. And then the judge asked them, but why are you not asking the son what he wants? And let him do what he wants. And the reply was, the son was not yet born. So they find a reason to quarrel in Kali Yuga. That the son was not yet born. They didn't have a child yet, but they had a disagreement what the son would become. This is Kali Yuga over trivial things. A trivial thing can spark the greatest violence. Prahlad Maharaj said in America, 2 cars stopped before the red light, and the first car, when it becomes green, it didn't start immediately. It waited a few seconds, and the person in the second car was trumping a bit. So the man of the first car comes out of the car with a gun and shoot the other person. It's just crazy, Kali Yuga. That happens today. So the trivial things can spark the greatest violence. So for a trivial thing, Maharaj Pariksit was cursed to death. In a purport, it is said, yes, sometimes Brahmins may curse others who are committing serious offenses, but this was not a serious offense. We see in the Bhagavatam that the Brahmins, they killed King Venu just by mantra. But that was a serious offense. King Venu was disregarding all the instructions of the Brahmins and was doing so many sinful activities that so he deserved to be killed. But a more important point here in the purport is that it's a danger not of committing this offense, but the danger of offending a Vaishnava. Offending the devotees is most dangerous. And Samika Rishi, he knew about that. He knew about that, and he wanted the Lord to pardon him, to forgive him, because he was a child. he was immature. He didn't know yet what he was doing. So Krishna knew Kali wanted to enter the Brahmins, and get them fall down. This had to happen because of Kali Yuga. But the Brahmins were so strict that Kali had no chance. So Kali took the chance to enter the Brahmins through this boy. That it's all part of Krishna's pastimes. These are two extraordinary situations which usually do not occur. The first is Maharaj Pariksit becoming angry. That is very unusual because he was an advanced devotee. And after that, and also Shringi cursing him. That it was all Krishna's pastimes, but Krishna's pastimes has always many layers of meaning, that of purpose. Yes, one purpose is he allowed Kali to enter the Brahmins. And the offense was done by a child, so that the child could be forgiven. But the fact that Maharaj Pariksit was cursed, that opened the door for Kali to start, because the next rulers will not be so strong that as Maharaj Pariksit. They will not be so strong. But another part of the pastime is Krishna left, and he wanted to come back to the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam had to be spoken and manifest. That because the Bhagavatam is not different from him. So the Bhagavatam had to be spoken. From Sukadev Goswami to Maharaj Pariksit. But Shamika Rishi was fearful because he was thinking Vaishnava is a very serious thing. Therefore, he was praying to the Lord, please forgive my son, but he was also visiting Maharaj Pariksit, ask him, please forgive my son. But Maharaj Pariksit saw it as the greatest fortune in his life, making him detached from his family, from his wealth, from his kingly position, and now he could spend the remaining 7 days of his life in full Krishna consciousness by hearing about Krishna. So everything what happens in the life of a devotee is Krishna's mercy, one way or another. And Srila Prabhupada speaks about that in the purport also, that because the Lord always protects his devotees. So yes, Vaishnava Aparat. We have seen, of course, there are many examples in the Bhagavatam of this Vaishnava Aparat. That we had also Raghunath Das Goswami one of the 6 Goswamis. His father was Govardhan, and his brother was Hiranyagarbha. And there were some Minners. They had great wealth. They were tax collectors. And they had many servants. But one of their friends who visited them regularly was Haridas Thakur. And so they invited Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was from Muslim background, but he was chanting 300,000 names of Krishna every day. And he was received as a great saint, and they asked him to speak about the power of the holy name. And Haridas Thakur explained to the assembly. There was, of course, Govardhan, Hiranyagarbha, and also a tax collector was there. Was it Gopal Chakravarti? Gopal. Yeah. Anyway, Haridas Thakur said that just by chanting Namabhas, reflection of the holy name, all one's sinful activities goes. Just by Namabhas, one can get liberation. And then this Gopal, this tax collector, said, who was a jnani, and he said, it's in the scriptures, he said that it's very difficult to attain liberation. It takes many, many births, so much effort. And you are just saying, just by chanting the holy names, even once you can attain liberation. That cannot be true. That if it's not true, I will cut off your nose, Gopal said. And then Gopal Chapala, that was his name, Gopal Chapala. Yeah. And immediately, Govardhan and Hiranyagarbha became very angry with this Gopal Chapal, and because he was in their service, and immediately they relieved him from all his functions and said, "You have committed a great offense to Haridas Thakur. Don't expect any good to happen in the next days." And 3 days later, he got a very bad disease. He got leprosy, that very heavy disease, and his own nose was rotting away. So committing Vaishnava is a very serious thing. And it's good to be afraid of it. Afraid to commit aparat. That is healthy. That we are there to serve devotees, not to criticize them, not to offend them. And Hiranyagarbha and Govardhan immediately said to Haridas Thakur, "Please forgive us. We invite you to your home just to be offended. that please forgive us." Because only Vaishnavas can give bhakti. We can only get bhakti from the Vaishnavas. So yes, this is why Samika Rishi took it so serious. That in the purport is explained that Maharaj Pariksit did not make a serious offense. But the cursing of Marat Brexit by the son of Sami Karishi, that Shringi, was a serious sin, especially because Marat Brexit was a pure devotee. He was protecting all the others, that all the Brahmins were protected by him and all the people. That because you need a strong ruler to ensure this protection. So that's the danger of committing Vaishnaparad. Like Durvasa Muni, who offended Maharaj Ambarish, that because Durvas he can become very angry and curse others. So he was invited by Ambarish Maharaj to take prasad, but he was going to take his bath, and it took longer than necessary. And that Ambarish Maharaj had been fasting. Has been fasting for a long time. It was time to take the fast, and the time for breaking the fast was passing. And Ambarish Maharaj asked his Brahmins counselors, what should I do? And they said, oh, just drink a little water. It's breaking the fast or not. And it's not breaking. But Durvasa Muni, by his mystic power, knew this. And when he came after his bath, he became very angry and created a demon to give trouble to Maharaj Ambarish. But immediately a Brahman, when a demon appeared, a fire demon was going to kill Ambarish Maharaj, but immediately the Sudarshan Chakra appeared and started to follow him. Anyway, we know the story that Prabhupada said in a lecture that factually, this is the order of the Supreme Lord to Sudarshan to protect always the devotees. And in the 80s, devotees in Hamburg, in Germany, they went on Harinam. And it was in Hamburg, close to the place where the place of prostitution, the place of Kali. And they were doing Harinam, and out of these bottles came a giant of a man, and he was roaring and going to attack the devotees. He was drunk. And the devotees were doing Harinam, and they started to chant Namaste Narasingaya. And then the man was storming towards to the devotees. And 10 meters before the devotees, he fell down, heart attack. So Krishna protects his devotees in various ways. So this is what I could say on this verse. Any questions, comments, please?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the class. So I've been wondering recently a little bit about, you mentioned Durvasa Muni. He's such a strange personality because as we try to progress in bhakti, we're supposed to become very tolerant, and his personality is such the opposite of that. Um, is this an example of the difference between devotion and mystic power, or is Durvasa Muni a devotee?
Yeah, and Durvasa Muni, I know is related to Lord Shiva. That and yeah, of course, Lord Shiva. Ignorance means anger, also. But yeah, it is a mystic. Is a mystic with great power. It seems he has a certain role to play in Krishna's pastimes, because but those who serve him nicely, he gives nice benedictions. Vasamuni gave the benediction to Radharani because she served him so nicely. To whatever she would cook, it would taste as nectar. And also, Queen Kunti, as a little girl, served Durvasa Muni nicely. And so Durvasa Muni, he would get up in the middle of the night and go to see her because he wanted some food or whatever. He tested her, Queen Kunti, and he was so pleased with Kunti that she gave Kunti a mantra to call any demigod she wanted. So later, this mantra was used when Pandu was cursed and could not have any sexual interaction or he would die. That she used it even before, because Karna was born from her ear because she called the sun god. The Queen Kunti said, I called you, but I want only to see the power of the mantra. But the Surya said, yes, but our meeting cannot be unfruitful. So you will get a child, but I will protect your chastity. It will be born from your ear. And a little baby came out of the ear and grew to a size immediately of a young boy with a natural shield, armor. That was Karma, which she put in a basket on the river. And she was praying to Krishna, please protect him. So Durvasa Muni gave different blessings also, but he tried to give the Pandavas a lot of trouble. Because Duryodhana, he pleased Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni asked, I want to give you a blessing. And Duryodhana said, if you want to please me, please go with your 50,000 disciples to see the Pandavas after they have eaten, because then they cannot receive you nicely, because they knew that Kunti had got from the sun god a patra for cooking. And as long as she had not eaten, it could give unlimited food for everyone. That's because when they were in exile, the Pandavas, many sages came with them, and they wanted to feed them, but they could not. But then the sun god gave the spot. But then Duryodhana said to Durvasa Muni, you go to see him after Kundi had eaten. He wanted to make them in trouble, to get them in trouble. So they came all to see them in the afternoon, and Dishti Maharaj said to the 50,000 disciples of Vasam, go to take a bath and we will prepare prasad for you. But they knew they could not. So Kunti was crying, and Krishna saw it and said, what's wrong? Yes, we cannot feed these Brahmins, 50,000 Brahmins, because I've eaten already. And Krishna said, show me the pot. and in the pot it was not washed yet. So, but there was a little grain, and Krishna took the little grain and ate it, and then was belching. that like he was full, he had eaten too much. But when Krishna is belching, is satisfied, the whole world is satisfied. So this 50,000 disciples took a bath, and then afterwards they were also belching, and they said, "Oh, we cannot eat anymore, we are full." And they all went away. So Durvasa Muni, seemingly, he has a certain role in this pastime. He was a mystic, he was not a devotee. But he learned about the value of devotees after cursing Ambarish Maharaj. That's all what I know, Charanat Charan Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Good. Thank you very much. I wish you a nice day and see you tomorrow. Jai Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. His Holiness Bhakti Prabhu Maharaj ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.